Hi guys, welcome back to Hope's Instant Kitchen. Today we are going to cook a whole chicken in our Instant Pot, and after it's done pressure cooking, we are going to pull out our air fryer lid and crisp up the outside of the chicken. So I always keep whole chickens on hand in my freezer because you can do so much with these. You can cook these rotisserie style in your air fryer, you can bake these, or you can pressure cook them. You can make stews, soups, or just eat the chicken as is. Alright, so what we're going to do, I'm going to get this chicken out of the package. And guys, I buy these from Sam's in a 2-pack. You can get a 2-pack of these chickens for less than $10, and they're about 5 pounds each. What I'm going to do is take this out of the package, and I'm going to wash it in the sink, and then I'll meet you over at the Instant Pot. Alright, so I've got my chicken all cleaned up, and I have a cutting board that I had laying on my stove with the trivet. And this is one with handles on it so that it will make it easier to put the chicken into the Instant Pot and pull it out when it is done cooking. I also have this little basting brush, and we're going to use that in a minute to put some butter and seasonings on our chicken. Alright, so I have a whole stick of butter here that I put in this container, and I'm going to melt it in the microwave, and then we're going to add some seasonings to the butter, and we are going to use our brush to put this all over our chicken. Alright, so I've melted my stick of butter in the microwave for about 35 seconds. It's mostly melted. There's still a little bit in there that's not completely melted, but that's fine. Next, we're going to take some seasonings. This is where you can get creative and add whatever you want to your butter. So I grabbed a little bit of parsley out of my garden, just a little bit. And I have here some sage, some chili powder, lemon pepper, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and some salt. So you can mix whatever seasonings that you want with your butter, and then we're going to brush it on our chicken using our little baster brush. Alright, so I'm just going to rip up my fresh parsley, and I got a little bit of dill in there from my garden. Add that in. I'm going to add in a little bit of each seasoning. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to take my basting brush and give this a good little mix in the bowl. Get everything all mixed up. Our butter's completely melted, but what we're going to do is before we brush any of this on our chicken, we're actually going to take some of this and reserve it for the end of the cooking. Because once our chicken's done cooking, we're going to brush some more of this on before we put the air fryer lid on to help crisp the skin of our chicken. So I have here another just small container, and I'm going to dump some of this out and reserve it. Just set it aside. Alright, so we have about this much reserved. I'm going to set it to the side for later. And also, I'm going to add in a little bit of Cajun seasoning for a little bit of extra heat. Alright guys, so now we're ready to brush the butter right onto our chicken. And you want to make sure you get behind the wings. Just drizzle this seasoned butter all over our chicken, making sure that everything is well coated. And also, please note that this chicken was in my freezer, but I took it out about 4 days ago, so it is completely thawed. If yours is still a little bit frozen, you can cook it from frozen in your Instant Pot, but it will take a little bit longer to cook because it's frozen. And now, once we're looking like this, we're going to take her and flip her over. Makes it so convenient to have this cutting board underneath so I'm not making a mess all over the place. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with this side that we just did to the other side. We want to get this thing well coated in our butter. Alright guys, that's it for our seasoned butter. Let me go wash my hands. All right, guys, so our chicken's looking like this. It's all coated with the seasoned butter. Now what we're going to do is go ahead, and this is going in my 6-quart Instant Pot. We're going to go ahead and put some water in our Instant Pot. I have maybe 2 cups of water down the bottom of my Instant Pot because what's going to happen is the juices from the chicken are actually going to be used to make a gravy later, because I am going to make some mashed potatoes to have as a side dish with the chicken. So after we're done cooking our chicken and we've air fried it with the air fryer lid, we are going to remove the chicken and let it rest. And while that's happening, we are going to add some cornstarch slurry to the juices that are left in the pot, which is going to make a delicious gravy. All right, so now what we're going to do is lift the trivet and place the chicken in the Instant Pot. And let me see if I can do this with one hand without making a total mess. Beautiful. All right, guys, the rule of thumb for cooking chicken in the Instant Pot is normally 5 minutes per pound. I'm going to go ahead, and even though it's completely thawed, I'm just going to give this about 45 minutes just to be safe. And then I'm going to use the air fryer lid for 15 minutes to crisp up the skin of our chicken. So let's go ahead and add our lid. Make sure that your pressure valve is in the sealing position, not the venting position. Okay. We're going to come down to our control panel, and we're going to hit the manual button, and I'm going to go up to 45 minutes. And that's it. I'll see you back here once the 45 minutes is up. All right, so while my whole chicken is cooking in my 6-quart Instant Pot, I thought I'd make some mashed potatoes to go with it in my 3-quart Instant Pot. So I have in here about a cup of water, and I'm going to peel these russet potatoes. There's 3 of them. They're pretty good sized. I'm going to go ahead and peel these. I'm going to rinse them off and then cut them into good sized chunks. Alright guys, so I have peeled and cut my potatoes up into good sized pieces here and put them into my Instant Pot, which had a cup of water in the bottom already. Now we're ready to add our lid. And we're going to make sure that our pressure valve is on sealing and not venting. We will come down here to our control panel, and we are going to hit the pressure cook button, and I'm going to go for 10 minutes. So I'll see you back here once our 10-minute cook time is up. Alright guys, so our potatoes are done cooking. We're going to press the cancel button. And now we're going to perform a quick release, which means we're going to turn our pressure valve from sealing to venting to release the pressure. Look at our potatoes. Alright, so now what you will need is the old trusty potato masher, at least a tablespoon of butter, some salt and pepper, and some milk. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put our butter in with our potatoes here. I'm going to pour in a little bit of milk. I'm going to start to mash these with my potato masher. You can always add more milk if you need more, because remember, there is still some water in the bottom of our Instant Pot, so we don't have too much liquid in there. Alright, I can tell that I'm going to need some more milk, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more. Just eyeballing it. There's no exact measurements, but we want some nice and creamy mashed potatoes. Alright guys, once they look nice and creamy and you've got all your big chunks mashed up, we're going to add some salt and pepper to taste. Get some salt and pepper in there and give that a stir. And then you can taste for salt and pepper and adjust as needed. Look how nice and creamy these are. Look at that. No boiling water, no standing around waiting for the water to boil and the potatoes to be fork tender. Just throw them in the Instant Pot. You can use chicken broth instead of just plain water when cooking these, and that'll give it some additional flavor as well. And that's it for our mashed potatoes. Alright, so now that our chicken is done cooking, we're going to do a natural release instead of a quick release. So a quick release is where you just go ahead and turn your pressure valve from sealing to venting and just go ahead and let the pressure out. Natural release is where we just do nothing for the amount of time that we're going to let it naturally release. In this case, we're going to let it release for 15 minutes. Now, if you go off and get distracted doing laundry or something else and you come back and it's been 20-25 minutes, that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Your chicken will still be keeping warm for you. But what this is going to do is count up to 15. So once you see 15 right here, you can go ahead, and most of the pressure should already be released. Go ahead and release whatever pressure is left. So I'll see you back here after our 15-minute natural release is up. Alright guys, we are back, and as you can see, this has been naturally releasing for 15 minutes. So now what we're going to do is hit the off cancel button, and we will go ahead and release any pressure that remains in our Instant Pot, which is barely anything at all. Just wait for our pin to drop. Alright, our pin has dropped. Now we do have to unplug our Instant Pot because we're going to be using the air fryer lid to crisp up the skin on the chicken. If you don't have an air fryer lid, you can turn your oven onto a broil and use it the same way that we're going to use the air fryer lid. It'll do the same thing. So just put your chicken on a sheet pan, toss it in the oven. Okay, we're going to remove our lid from our Instant Pot. And there is our beautiful chicken. While the chicken was cooking, I went ahead and washed my basting brush. You can wash yours or grab another basting brush if you have another one. This is our remaining seasoned butter that we set to the side earlier. It's still a little bit melted. If yours is kind of hardened up as it sat, you can put it in the microwave. We're going to go ahead and we're going to baste our chicken right in the Instant Pot with the remaining seasoned butter that we had. And this is going to help our chicken to brown and look really pretty once it's done crisping with our air fryer lid. We just want to crisp up the skin and get our chicken nice and golden brown. So we want to use up the remaining butter here. So go ahead, make sure to get it all over that chicken. That looks pretty good. And now what we're going to do is place our air fryer lid on top of our Instant Pot. And once it's properly seated, you will hear the jingle, much like you would with the pressure cooking lid. We're going to hit the broil button, and you can only broil at 400 degrees, so you cannot change the temperature of the broil function. We're going to go ahead and hit the broil button. Our time is set at 15 minutes, and hit the start button. Alright guys, we're at the 7-minute mark of our 15-minute broil time, and I think we need to take a little peek. Look at that, you guys. That looks so good. I love that I can take a peek under my air fryer lid while it's cooking without it messing up the cook time. Alright guys, so our 15-minute broiling time is up. We can go ahead and remove our air fryer lid and place it on the hot pad that came with the air fryer lid so you don't mess up your countertops. And look at that, you guys. That is beautiful. Alright, so now we have to unplug our air fryer lid. And we are going to set that to the side. Alright, so my trivet that I used has these little green silicone handles, but they're hot because I used the air fryer. So I'm going to use these handy dandy little mitts to go ahead and grab the chicken out of the Instant Pot. And I'm going to place it on a baking sheet to let it rest for a minute while we make our gravy with the drippings that are left in our Instant Pot. All right, so our chicken is resting on a baking sheet. Now back to our Instant Pot. This is the drippings that we have left from our chicken. And what we're gonna do is make a cornstarch slurry, which is equal parts cornstarch with equal parts water. So you could do tablespoon, teaspoon. It doesn't matter how much you use. It depends on how thick or thin you'd like your gravy to be. But whatever you're gonna use, go ahead and mix equal parts. So over here I have my container of cornstarch, and I have a little Tupperware to mix it in, and my little teaspoon. So I'm probably going to use 4 teaspoons of cornstarch and 4 teaspoons of water. All right, once we have our equal parts of cornstarch and water mixed together, we're going to go ahead and stir this until it goes from being a cement-like consistency to a smooth consistency. So we're making kind of like a paste here. And this is going to thicken up the drippings in our Instant Pot and turn it into a nice gravy. And you can pour the gravy over your mashed potatoes or your chicken. Either or would be delicious. All right, so once this is nice and smooth and you don't have any more lumps of cornstarch in there, we're going to take this over to our Instant Pot. Remember to plug your Instant Pot back in since we had to unplug it to use our air fryer. What we're going to do now is come down to our control panel and we're going to hit the saute button. And we just want the drippings to come to a bubble, and then we're going to add our cornstarch slurry in while stirring at the same time. And it's not going to take long for the liquid in the Instant Pot to come to a bubble. Alright, so once we come to a bubble, and it'll only take a few minutes for that to happen, we're going to go on and pour in our cornstarch slurry, and I'm using one hand, so you do want to stir at the same time. Give this a stir, and it's going to start to thicken up nicely. Just let it bubble for a few minutes. After it bubbles for a few seconds, we want to kill the heat, so we're going to come down to our control panel, and we're going to hit the keep warm cancel button. Turn the Instant Pot off. Once the bubbles die down, your liquid will turn into a nice gravy-like consistency. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave any comments down below. And make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I post a new Instant Pot video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.